Hello there, Internet. Welcome back to Hack. Bit of a different video, this one today, because there are I've got some issues, basically, with the previous version of this video that I made. This bit annoyed me. Things out of sight that you can just walk into. Have the whole thing disappear. I realised, as you could probably tell from the intros to the previous two videos, that I really should not have... I should have taken a break. After the escape sequence section, I should have gone away. I should have, taken stock, calmed down, then done the boss, got frustrated with that, and again, taken a step back, gone and calmed down. And of course, I don't do that. I never do that because I'm an idiot. So rather than put the original commentary for the first bit of this, not the whole thing, just the first bit, I want to talk about some design philosophies that I feel are important to Metroidvanias. We've got issues here with signposting, with where to go, and I've been fortunate enough to have some discussions actually with the developers of the game about their design intention and what they were going for with the escape sequence especially, which I found very, very useful. And it has not necessarily changed my mind, but I can see what they were going for, and the idea that it was optional. And we talked a little bit about, clearer signposting for players, and why it was that I felt I needed to find all 5 of the vents down here. First of all, just because that's how they show up on the map, and therefore a player is going to want to say, oh, well, we've got all of these places, how do I get to them? The idea of, especially in the far on to the right, which you can only get by coming from a different zone entirely, that isn't super clear. But the intention that you can do these in a certain degree of kind of optional order wasn't clear enough to me as a player. And therefore, I thought, well, we start with the Merlin Pit. Okay, I've got to finish the Merlin Pit before I can go on to Anthony Hill. And you don't have to. It is the designer's intention that the kind of gauntletty escape section room and the boss, to an extent, are optional for now, and you can come back to them later. Obviously, if you do go up to Anthony Hill, as you'll discover later on, that the zone's not finished yet, and you can't actually finish the quest yet. But the intention wasn't quite clear, and I've actually, as an English teacher and a writer, I've suggested some possible changes to the dialogue from old Joel, just to make it clear what is going on. But anyway, I want to talk about design philosophy in Metroidvanias, because for me, the joy of Metroidvanias is getting a load of cool abilities, becoming quite powerful, and then going back through areas in the game to find and unearth all the different secrets that we couldn't get to before. And the way most games do that is by giving you a lot of tools to explore, by giving you lots of things that are gated off for now. But another way that they do it is through enemy design. Now, I've already spoken about how the bosses, Fatty and the mole, or whatever he is in this particular zone, the leader of this, the 2 main bosses that we've really fought so far, I've spoken about how they are, in my opinion, unnecessarily frustrating mechanically. And I think a lot of that is due to the controls, which is another thing that I've been chatting about with the devs, and they're putting quite a lot of fixes into place. They've had feedback. So it's not like me, just being get good. But the other thing is going back through all these areas and facing off or avoiding enemies. And by the time you get to do that, usually you're fairly powerful, enemies die fairly easily, and it is the general design philosophy in a lot of Metroidvania games that enemies take 1 to 2 or maybe 3 hits to kill. And that doesn't happen in this game. There are some enemies that require more hits or have more gimmicks than the average. And I'll see if I can point out some of them as we go. We've seen those little slimes with the hard hats. They've got some gimmicks. These slime guys up here have got like 4 or 5 different abilities. But yeah, these two here. These slime enemies take a long time to kill. And I thought that maybe the intention was that you kind of hook shot them and hook off the caps, and then you can kill them easily, like the spiny shell enemies in Zelda games. And I thought, or actually the beetles in the original Darksiders, I thought that must be how those enemies work. So they'd be nice and soft and squishy underneath. That's not the case. Maybe it's supposed to be the case, but it doesn't work. I don't know. But at the moment, they seem to take an awful lot of hits, and there's no way of telling how many they need to take. And actually, on the subject of those slime enemies, several of them, there's a hidden thing down here, which I don't discover, I don't think, in this video. Just underneath. Is it going to come back up? Yeah, just between the lantern section there. And I should have thought about that, and I didn't. Those enemies are okay. You know, a couple of good hits in on them. But the slime enemies with the hats take a little bit too long to kill. And I'd really like it if you could hook shot their protective cover off and then hit them underneath. That'd be cool, rather than just slamming at them with a sword. But it doesn't seem to work that way. The other slime enemies seem to have been changed slightly in this build of the game, in the Chapter 6 build of the game, to leave little kind of blobs of slime behind. And in my feedback for the boss in this Merlin Pet area video, the fact that they leave, the way the slime does so much damage and is kind of difficult to avoid at times, just adding that to those enemies has actually made getting round them more frustrating. And you know, in the exploration section, once you've got to exploration time in a Metroidvania, you don't want to be constantly getting damaged and knocked back by tiny little things with surprisingly, in some cases, substantial hitbox sizes. The other enemy that I've spoken at length about that I dislike, one of its gimmicks, is the shield bandit enemies. I like the idea of a defensive enemy. I like the fact that you've got to charge attack it and dash behind it, and when it's stunned, and you know, stab it in the back essentially to do more damage. That annoyed me there. The fact that if you slide to the end when you get up, you automatically take damage. But the shield enemies, if they were shieldy, and you had to use your charge attack on them, or slam down onto them using the kind of ground smash ability, that's absolutely fine. I feel like the gimmick where they jump backwards is too much. I feel that is unnecessary. You know, if you're going to have a defensive enemy with a shield, you don't tend to make them agile as well. There's some awful platforming from me here. That's one of the reasons why I've got this footage on, because I still think it's important to show the issues that I was having. But that was my stupid fault. My original commentary for this section was just bad and salty and not constructive. And you know, the whole point of a beta branch in early access is for constructive feedback. So yeah, the shield enemies, I would just love for them to lose their dodge back, because if you are charging up your... See, I didn't take damage that time. Don't know why. If you're charging up your charge attack and you're getting yourself into position, but as soon as you release the button for them to automatically dodge back and escape it, seems like a little bit of a time waste. And it could be that the design intention, therefore, yeah, just hitting the little globules can be a bit tricky with a hookshot. It could be the design intention is that you attack them from above. You know, you crash down into them and stun them that way. And if that's the case, you know, fair enough. But it doesn't feel Great. So the dodge back move on those I'd like to see removed. The enemies are still fun to fight, and they've got a nice gimmick. These guys are fine. Got absolutely no issues with those. I feel like the chefs who throw knives at you, you should be able to hit their knives back a little bit easier. These enemies with the kind of green, kind of sloshy bowls, I feel like they've got too many gimmicks. You know, they explode, they shoot out multiple globules, which are kind of difficult. They explode off screen. Yeah, I've got my issues with those. Generally speaking, in Metroidvania games, if you have enemies with multiple gimmicks, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with enemies with multiple gimmicks, but there don't tend to be as many other enemies on screen. So by all means, use them, but don't have as many other enemies around. Let your player have the space needed to counter the enemies, to deal with the enemies, or to, in the exploration phase, to get around the enemies. I feel like that is an important part of the mopping up, as I call it, the 100%ing experience. This is at the stage where the obvious signpost in this room has still escaped me. I think I've got that recorded later on, but at this point I'm saying, there's nothing that I can do here. And because I have, by this point in the game, after over an hour and a half probably since I had the conversation with Joel, I've just got no thinking about, I could go back up to Anthony Hill at this point and see what it is like and see what is there. Turrets, by the way, they're another enemy that I'd like a single tweak to. I've spoken before about the slight inaccuracy of the hitbox at hitting projectiles back to enemies. I still do feel that would be a fix that I would like. Yeah, here we go. This is the enemy that, charge and jump back. Yeah, it's almost like they know. They jump back just as you let off the button, and then there's a split second before the animation goes off. So it's clearly tied to you releasing the button if you've got a charge attack. What was I saying? I've forgotten. Hitboxes, charge attacks, globules. I forget. Yeah, it's gone. Whatever it was, I'm sure it was fascinating and interesting. Is there a way that I can pause this and just check? Turrets. It was turrets, wasn't it? There we go. Yeah, the single change that I'd like made to turrets is that first reflect takes their shield off, second reflect kills them. Having to hit them, twice seems a bit of a weird choice for me. Take away their protection and then they're soft and squidgy underneath. It's not a big gripe at all, and if there's no change to that, I really don't mind too much, but it does feel like it's an unnecessary third step. And in situations, and there are quite a few situations I might add, where the missiles are firing off you and you can hear them and you can see the cube, but you can't quite judge. This is a horrible room. How long it's going to take to get to you. I don't know how you're supposed to get through there either. Yeah, just having that one less hit would be nice, but it might make the design of the enemy too inconsequential, perhaps. As I said, it's just something that I made note of that I thought was a bit odd. I suppose 3 is the magic number, so 3 missile reflex kills the enemy. It's not like they come back, the turrets, as opposed to other enemies, or at least I don't think they do. So yeah, dealing with these assholes, I've already spoken about the enemy design. These guys realistically have too many things going on to be surrounded by other enemies. I like the variation of these guys and how they've now got missile firing versions as well as the kind of laser shooting versions from the original. These particular enemies shooting the gas don't have a huge issue with. I think they've got a single gimmick. They're one-shottable. You know, they're good. Use skills and abilities to avoid in an exploration situation style enemies. But these guys, you know, I think I just wallop away on this one. It's like I've no idea. It's possible that they take more damage from behind. That might be the case actually. Now I watch the footage for like the third or fourth time. There's a hidden thing up there I discovered later. But yeah, those enemies are faffy. The dogs are fine. These guys are fine here. But yeah, you want enemies that are easy enough to work with so that during the exploration and secret finding phase of your Metroidvania title, your players aren't getting frustrated with what is going on. And I think... I know I don't quite go up to Anthony Hill yet. This room here, I've had some feedback from the developers on in terms of what I was struggling with, grabbing onto those ledges. It turns out that the little node things here are a different kind of tile. And sometimes they're getting in the way of the ledge grabbing mechanic, and they've got a fix for that. I do still think it's kind of mean that you've got all of that actually taking place on spikes. It's a weird choice. One thing that I've considered the pros and cons of is health bars for enemies. Some enemies in some Metroidvania games give health bars to enemies. I've been trying to think about the pros and cons of doing that with this, and I really don't have any particular opinion either way. I kind of feel like they might be nicer for the bosses to give us an indication of, you know, the fact that we are doing damage and we are chipping away at them, and you know, we're doing something right. This room's a pain to come back through, incidentally. I don't know if there is going to be a gas mask power up in the game. But there are things in this room that we haven't got, and just getting back down to the bottom of it without dying is actually impossible currently. Even with a perfect run, getting back round and then coming up to that the secret there, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I don't think it's possible. I managed it in my kind of map making exploration by using Cheat Engine and turning on the hacking out the infinite health so that you don't die. Anyway, we're about to go up to Anthony Hill now, so I'm going to switch over to my original footage. You know, am I supposed to go to Anthony Hill? Right, so have I got all the... Oh, hello. Hi, Trait. Signal is really bad around here. There must be a jammer somewhere. I sense that the man in black left lots of traps around. Wonderful! You should be careful. I don't like last time. Are you done? Stop wasting my time or I hang up. It's not a very likeable protagonist. Could do with a little bit of empathy to make us actually care about his situation a bit more. Need at least 8 vents to react to. At least. Ah. Okay. We've got 5 out of 8. See, that we could have done with that being signposted down below a little bit more clearly. 5%. It seems like it's a pretty big area, though. Why is there a locked door marker on the map? Is it for that? If so, it's in the wrong place. Oh, I like the background. Okay, now I can get up here, which I couldn't do before. Okay, key card acquired. What's that for? Right, there's a disc up there. Ah, now I can get up there. Okay, can't get across there. Obtained? Energy shard? Oh! Oh, we can get double dash things, can't we? Okay, also, what was that achievement that we just got? Fuse an energy slot. Okay. Still can't do anything here. So there's clearly going to be something that will allow us to oh, interesting. Oh. Okay. So there are little icons that we can use now. Ouch. Just climb, thank you. Ooh. There's a thing up there. Huh. Can't get up there anyway. Hmm. Hmm. Thank you. They just need to tighten up the controls a little bit. Okay, so that's the... Yeah. Okay, let's head back then to Anthony Hill, because we can't do anything else here until we've got... I'm assuming it's going to be a floaty cape hand glidery style thing to use those air vents. Ooh, we can get through here though, can't we? Oh. Comrade Nowatsky. Sorry, I missed some of the Anthony Hill vent locations. You'll find them in the attachment. My apologies. And thank you. Okay. Okay. So some of the vents are here. I feel like I should know that, or should have known that. Oh no. Oh, let's let's include all of the least fun mechanics in the game. Okay, that worked. It's just not lenient enough, that. For an ability that it is mandatory to use. Oh. Whee! Oh. Oh, good. Another disc. I've collected 13 of these. There's nothing to do with them yet. That I've seen, anyway. What is that? Oh, that's the save thing. Okie dokie. Right, that's coming from the other side. We could probably hit that. Okay, so that's the end of Anthony Hill. In terms of how much of the demo there, not the demo, the early access there is.
Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.